Chapter 2, Killed for Freedom. Local settlement date, 35959. Start applying meaning to everything, and nothing will make sense. King Namor, Zujahrah. Orthia was happy to find out she was having a birthday party. Everyone had big birthday parties, but Orthia forgot the significance of her party. She would be a queen before she went to sleep again. She knew that becoming a queen was a common event. Still, it was an event to celebrate. With so many people in the castle, there were countless parties and events every day. Orthia almost only went to events when her two favorite cousins convinced her to join them. Orthia did not want to miss any events on her birthday, so she was pleased when King Rosh and King Morhart appeared before her in front of her bed. "The princess sleeps her last days as princess away." "I wasn't sleeping. I was smelling my smells and listening to the morning sounds." Rosh and Morhart listened before continuing. "Yes, sounds worth listening to. And of course, if I could smell you in my bed, I would never leave it." Orthia jumped up and kissed Morhart. "Before you two get started—" "This didn't start yesterday, King Rosh." "I am aware, and it is not my point." "What was your point?" "What I want to point out is that if we leave now, we can still get a front row booth for the game, and I have heard that today's game promises to be a good one." Orthia had never been to a game. She had heard about them from her cousins. She knew Draves would be killing Draves convicted of a crime. The last few men were being placed on their position as Orthia and her cousins sat themselves in a front row booth. All the upper booths were already full. Orthia looked around to see if she knew everyone. "A full house today." Orthia smiled at Rosh, then looked down at the players. "Rosh, what is it, princess?" "I want the Drave that is looking at us at my party. He's a Grawl. He will be dead soon. Rosh, please arrange it for me. You are a king. For you, Orthia, I will arrange whatever I can." Orthia kissed him. Rosh was truly happy to do anything for or with Orthia, whenever he could. He had many other things to tend to, of course. Being a king was mostly fun and games. Fun and games, however, required much attention. He was the first king to arrive at the official's booth. Arranging the Drave required that he make a proclamation and wait to have it written so that he could sign and seal it. "I, King Rosh of the royal family, request the presence of Drave 24 at my cousin's becoming queen party." Rosh watched the Draves adjusting their various armors. He could smell already the fear. He thought about the tax collectors no one ever saw, who brought in an endless supply of Draves. It was not a problem to lose a few of the older ones in the games. Many of them were unbearable after they reached puberty. What was his crime? Insubordination. It was almost always insubordination. There was not much beyond that. Rosh signed and returned to his booth. "Thank you, Rosh." "My pleasure, princess." The first move was announced. It was Tyrann 24. He was a Grawl, armed only with a blunt wooden spear. It had historic meaning. The historic meaning put Grawls at a disadvantage. Other times in the history no one knew about had metal axes. Another time had swords. His first three opponents were Grawls. He killed them quickly with an animal fury. The next time he was ordered to fight, his opponent was an Erskine. Rarely did an Erskine lose against a fresh Grawl. Tyrann had 3 fights behind him. Tyrann waited for his opponent to attack. When the Erskine swung his axe, Tyrann moved part of his body back so the axe grazed his chest. With the rest of his body, he thrust forward with the spear, ripping into his opponent's throat. "Oh my gods, he is good." "He was a little lucky. He was fast and fearless." "He's going to be at my party, and I would be willing to wager half of my wealth that you will seduce him to your room." "There would be a good chance that you would be much wealthier tomorrow." Tyrann was entitled to the clothing and equipment of his kill. He was given enough time to strip the Erskine's leather and put them on while another 2 Draves fought. He could see, though he tried not to look, that the last Grawl of his team was being brutally beaten by an Alois with a chain. He had already maimed the Grawl's legs with his sword. His slower, more brutal death was meant to scare those opponents not yet dead. Turan knew he was it. Turan acted as though it did not concern him. He concentrated on making certain that all his leathers were well adjusted for optimum movement. There was not much protection in the animal skins. They gave the impression that the wearer was a fighter, however, and Turan was very happy to have his groin protected like the unknown soldier of whatever time. Turan knew he would not turn to face his opponent until he was ordered to fight. He heard when the chain stopped beating the dead Grawl. As the final act of terror, the Alois chopped off the head of the dead Grawl and threw it toward Turan. Turan was now very concentrated on throwing his new axe and catching it. He was so concentrated that the axe seemed to follow a very precise rhythm. Part of it was its own. Turan smiled. The crowd was relatively quiet. "He's driving the other Drave mad. He's not doing anything." "Exactly. His opponent wants his attention." "What a beautiful strategy. He looked so calm. He didn't even flinch at the bouncing Grawl head." "What is done with the Draves that don't die?" "They get official freedom from castle service papers, so they can leave the sanctuary of Castle City to find a way to pay taxes." Rosh laughed. "What's funny?" "Funny is being a member of the royal family." "This game is funny, unless you're in it." Turan was still watching his axe floating what looked like a sideways figure eight. Or was it more like a flower? Someone was moving behind him, toward him, to kill him.